And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the uThermal 2v2 circuit, the last chance qualifier. I'm of course just VIP with here, joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat and by my plushies as well. Welcome. It's been a while. it's been a while since we've been on our regular overlays. Of course, we were very busy and very entrenched in Homestory Cup. Homestory Cup over the weekend was intense. There was a lot of StarCraft, a lot of content, a lot of streaming going on over the weekend, and we made it back. We made it back. Past Homestory Cup, and of course congratulations and a shout out to all those that did compete, of course. And typically we are live with what? With the Wardy TV Monday. Wardy TV Monday is typically in this time slot, but Wardy was at Homestory Cup, so he's still traveling. He's still traveling, he's still coming back from Germany. So because of that, this week Wardy TV Monday was postponed to Wardy TV Tuesday, so it's gonna be tomorrow. So tomorrow, just 1 hour from now, tomorrow is going to be Wardy TV Monday. On Tuesdays instead, it's going to be the Tuesday edition, and that's going to be here live on the channel. So until then, we had to kind of scramble to kind of adjust our schedule. I was ready to cast Wardy TV Monday tonight. Instead, we're going to be rotating our schedule a little bit here and covering the uThermal 2v2 circuit. Now, this is a replay cast. This event did occur a week ago. We were just finding some time to actually broadcast the event. We were going to be casting it tomorrow. And for those that are curious, unfortunately, we weren't able to cover it live. Instead, uThermal did, of course, and we were there, but we were adminning. For those that are curious, we do admin the uThermal circuit, so we were busy organizing the players, making sure that all the matches were being played out, making sure that everyone was all good when it came to vetoes, when it came to finding players themselves, keeping track, keeping score, all that good stuff. So that's what we were conducting, that's what we were doing last week. Now we're here to cover the matches themselves. Let's go, baby, let's go. For those that are curious, uThermal, he's been hosting, or he's been running this initiative of 2v2 tournaments over the past half a year, since the beginning of the year. Last year, especially during the off season, there was an uptick when it comes to these team game tournaments. Wardy was hosting team game tournaments, 2v2s, 3v3s, and 4v4s, and uThermal also did embrace that as well, running his own crowd-funded circuit. So a big shout out to all those that did contribute to the event, to creating this big circuit. We've been having these monthly events throughout the course of the year that led into this last chance qualifier, and the main event begins after EWC. uThermal wanted to make sure that that all the players could focus on the Esports World Cup, and then after EWC, bam, then we have the 2v2 grand finals. We have the playoffs, I should say. We have the main event, group stage into the playoffs as well. It's going to be a 2-week event. 2 weeks of 2v2 content. But until then, we're here to cover the last chance qualifier. Let's go. Let us go. I cannot unhear 2v2 circuit. Yes, the 2v2 circus. Let's go. True. As we have our first matchup here, it's going to be Moja and Optimist up against RiSky and FIGARO. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Undercurrent. Here we go again. When it comes to 2v2, when it comes to this format, I mean, there's a lot to get into, and we'll just jump right on in. We'll jump right on in. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our double Zerg, double UK team. We have RiSky and FIGARO. Well, I'll fix that up. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue Protoss alongside the blue Terran. It is Moja and Optimist. Is it? There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Here we go. Now, when it comes to our 2v2 setup here, first things first, we are getting to our standard openers. We do have RiSky going for his own hatch gas pool, I believe. No, that's gonna be FIGARO. There we go. He does go for an extractor trick. Meanwhile, yeah, there we go. Hatch gas pool out of RiSky. So we have relatively standard openers. But when it comes to 2v2, when it comes to this format, double race teams are a rare sight. The reason for that is that they're typically weaker, just because they have less tools. They have less dynamic. They have less kind of ways to show up their partners' weaker kind of defenses, or weaker compositions, I should say. Typically, the meta, the go-to, and the best duo in 2v2 is Protoss and Terran. Their late game composition consists of Skytoss and Mech, which can be insane, and even their early timid game can be very dynamic when it comes to map control, when it comes to dealing harassing damage as well. It just does serve as a stronger setup here. Despite that, we have seen some double Zerg duos have some success. I say some success because infamously we have a double Zerg duo of Serral and Zhuge and they competed for a little bit together as double Zerg, and then eventually Serral, what did he switch to? Protoss. He switched to Protoss, and then he started playing as Protoss alongside Zhuge instead, for a better kind of team, for a better composition. So if even Serral's switching out of double Zerg, I mean, but yes, that's kind of an example of what's happened in the past. Despite that, we have seen some early game aggression out of double Zerg going into Link Bane aggression. We have seen some success by rushing into Lurker tech as well. So we'll see how our players do approach this. Our double Zerg of RiSky and FIGARO, in general, they are placed quite highly when it comes to the 2v2 ladder. From the side of Moja and OpTiMiStC, I'm a little bit less familiar with their pairing as a duo. We haven't really covered too much of them throughout the course of the 2v2 circuit. For the time being, stay in the openers. I should also say that all-ins, especially early game all-ins, like one-base all-ins, are a rare sight. They're a rare sight in 2v2. Often we do see some later forms of aggression, mid-game and late-game, I should say. Mainly mid-game, mainly mid-game aggression instead. For the time being, we do have a double expand here out of Moja. So it's going to be a Rax expand. That's going to be a second CC before factory even. So very greedy play here by Moja. Meanwhile, we do have OpTiMiStC going for his own pocket base as well. I should also emphasize, welcome to Undercurrent. Undercurrent does have a safe pocket expansion that players can take at any moment. Likewise, we also have the Jurassic Park ambience music here in the corner, as you can hear. I appreciate it. We have shared main bases and we have a relatively shared natural. I say that there are multiple entrances here, so the natural is a little bit more exposed compared to on other maps. On other maps, there's just one entrance to the natural and you can secure it quite nicely. Here, multiple entrances does mean that OpTiMiStC's third base is going to be more exposed, more vulnerable. Behind this, we're just droning, we're just saturating. Link speed is on the way, and again, we don't really expect anything too crazy early on. We'll soon embrace our tech of choice. We'll see if we go into a layer into Hydrogen, into Spire play, into a Roach Ravager heavy composition. We'll see that soon from our Zerg duo. We'll see what they kind of get into. But now the Overlord is getting called out, so we can see RiSky attempting to save, but alas, a little bit too late. Overlord does go down. Likewise, fast red chamber here out of FIGARO. This should be for +1 melee. This should be for a Ling heavy start into Ling either Hydra or Ling Muta. We'll keep an eye on him. Lings are deflected. And so far, so good. We come in for the attempted Scud, bearing in mind that, remember, Moja, he was hyper greedy here with his fast third CC, delaying everything else, but now he's going into double E-base, going into his own bio composition. Meanwhile, from the side of our Protoss player here is a Stargate opener into a Gateway follow-up here. Most likely it's a +1 Blink Stalker. So far, everything here is pretty standard, like a 3-1-1 setup out of Moja, likewise +1 Blink out of our Protoss, assuming it's not going to be charged. You know, we did mention +1 melee out of FIGARO. There we go. Melee is on the way, of course. We do have the Roach Warren from the side of RiSky. So RiSky is going into Roach Ravager. FIGARO is going initially Ling Bane. Now, when it comes to our Zerg player here, we have seen some players rush into Ultras and have success with that as well. So this could be Ling Bane into Hive into Ultra, or Ling Bane into... We're looking for a Spire, looking for a Hydrogen. Could be something else gas intensive. Just waiting to see what the gas is going to be spent on. For now, just Ling Bane. But again, both players are heading in different directions. Tech-wise, I mean. So I have OpTiMiStC looking for a way in. Does rotate. So far, no major damage. Again, we're still just building up. The gold base has been taken. I mean, we spoke about the greed of Moja earlier, how fast he took his third base. Now, bam, straight into a gold. And this is putting a lot of pressure on the Zerg team to try to punish this. Yes, they have their own bases. That's true. They have their own gold. They have their own mineral income. But we'll see if they can break the defensive line here of the Terran, of the Protoss, see if they can punish this base. If not, they will acquire a more efficient army. So I'd say there's more pressure on RiSky and FIGARO, on the Zerg team, on Team UK. Lair is in production. For now, just getting into 1-1 melee upgrades. Roach Ravager is amassing from the side of RiSky. He's building up his Roach Ravager. Overall, this game has been relatively passive. We've been harassing and poking him with oracles, but that's really all that's been done. And so far, Our UK team. So far, Moja, he is getting away with his greed. Ling run back here and towards the middle line. Stalkers in position. Will defend. OpTiMiStC does hold. Does hold on. Now we have the answer of choice here. We were curious, is it going to be Aspire, is it going to be a Hydrogen, or is it going to be Ultras? We have the answer, it's Hydras. So it's going to be Ling Hydra, or Ling Bane Hydra, potentially into Ling Bane Hydra Lurker. We'll keep an eye on the tech of choice here for FIGARO. You know, RiSky going into an Infestation Pit. For now, we're a Ravager, potentially into Spellcasters. We do see our blue team moving out for the first time. To move out. They do poke. And they're committing a little bit harder here. They're prone to getting surrounded. Yeah, there's creep behind them. Ling Bane as well. Scan does reveal the army. Moja trying to keep up with the Ling Bane. Baneling speed is not done. Uh-oh. Yeah, nice sacrificing, but one Baneling does graze the army. The Marines have to pick up. But the Banelings are dealt with. Stalkers are pushing in. Stalkers, they dominate the Roaches. And the Roaches are struggling. We need more Ling reinforcements. But again, that's all Moja's for. Lynx is trying to get from behind. The Lynx are dealt with. And with that, they're pushing through. Yeah, they break the goal. The goal base is being broken. Our last surround was just a little bit lopsided. Wasn't quite ready. The set of bases should be going down. And FIGARO, what are we going for? He's not catching reinforcements. He's still building up. Base goes down. Now he does move in. At least he tries to. And nice split set from Moja. Tank does go down. Moja bleeding out his army, does take down 2 bases. And it looks like the Zerg team is going to be able to hold on. Whew. Yeah, they do hold on. Get a nice round, but it was a little bit delayed. And again, the damage has been done. Bases did go down. How many worker kills? Not many. Okay. 2 drones. Only 2. Moja moving in. Does move in, still does rally forward. There is some creep to work with, but the Baneling shouldn't connect. Yeah, they're rushing forward. Stalkers, they tank. They tank quite well. Yeah, now it's just Roaches. Now only Roaches remain. Hydras are trickling in. FIGARO, he never quite got into his Hydra tech. No, never quite got into Lurkers either. Lurkers would have been ideal here, but again, it was a later layer, later Hydras, later tech. And I don't see this being dealt with. Like, there are just so many Stalkers. With good enough blink control, this army should not die. I say that, yeah, he dives in. GG gets called, blinks on forward. And FIGARO and RiSky, they have been broken. GG. Moja OpTiMiStC take game number 1. GG. A solid game there out of Moja and OpTiMiStC. Pretty passive in the early to mid game. They were just slowly just building up, getting their natural, their third bases. They were cutting corners, they were being greedy. They got away with it as well. It is difficult to be aggressive here with Lings and Roaches early on, just because one, because the bases are so condensed, they're so close to each other. It's a little bit easy for both players to rotate to defend. Unfortunately, neither player did go into any kind of harassing option, whether it's going into like rushing into mutas or being a little bit more aggressive with Ling Bane. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to slow down the Protoss and Terran from building up. GG. GG, well played. With that, we do take a lead in the series. Now we're getting into game number 2. Game 2 is going to be on Crimson Research Station. Research Lab even. Let's go. Let us go. And I'm hoping that RiSky and FIGARO can maybe be a little bit more active in the early game. Again, like, they just could not do anything, or they opted not to try to do anything to slow down their opponent, and they just kind of got into their own game. It was a very comfortable game for the blue team. Very comfortable. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Crimson Research Lab, we have our Zerg team. We have our red team. We have, from the land of the UK, RiSky and FIGARO. I may just have to... And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team. We have our duo, Protoss and Terran duo of Moja and OpTiMiStC. The casting tool does say pressure by default. It doesn't like 2v2. Unfortunately. It's okay. For now, though, we are settling in. We do have our initial openers here. Now, welcome to the Crimson Research Lab. We do have a shared main base here, so a shared main. This time, there's no free pocket expansion. I mean, that's another aspect of Undercurrent, which the Zerg players couldn't quite punish, is that the natural was just safe and sound for OpTiMiStC. Does make for a much more secure early to mid game. Here we have once again somewhat shared of a, we do have a shared natural base. There is a path here that leads into a pocket third expansion though. Again, it is a pocket base until these rocks get knocked down. These rocks with force fields, of course. Once that gets knocked down, then this base is a little bit more exposed. But until then, a very secure 3-base setup, at least for one of the players. And it looks like OpTiMiStC will be opting to take that third. So again, they're already just walling up that natural. Likewise, back at home, we do have our initial standard opener out of our duo Zergs. Nothing too crazy. No earlier gases, no earlier spawning pools. Settling in. To settle in. And now again, when it comes to the mid game here, there are different attack avenues. Just because you do have access to that to those rocks, so you can try to knock them down. You can try to push in either on the left or right hand side, and ideally you want to be able to try to split apart your opponent's defenses here and make them split out their own armies, split up and defend in multiple locations at once. So they're going to be a little bit less centralized than they were on Undercurrent, where they could kind of keep their armies in the same position. That's the ideal. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of OpTiMiStC. Once again, Stargate into Oracle. Meanwhile, this time we have a factory before third TC. So this time it's a bit of a more standard opener here. Lings, oh, they do slip in. They get a full scout, and that is going to be a second factory. Oh, he knows how to 2v2. He's playing mech. Moja, after playing bio in game 1, here in game 2, he's switching it up into mech instead. Is the second factory. Now, thankfully, the duo Zerg team did scout. They did get eyes on that second factory, so he knows. They do know. They are aware. As long as they clicked on the building. Roach Warren's on the way for RiSky. This is a very early Roach Warren. Speaking of early Roach Warren from FIGARO as well, this is not a reaction to what they saw. I believe this should be a more aggressive response as well. It looks like they may be looking to go for an earlier Roach timing, the two of them together. Especially considering FIGARO, he has skip link speed. Yeah, he has skip link speed. So it looks like they may just commit. So we'll keep an eye on their drone count. So far, they're getting up to 2-base saturation. Taking gases. We'll see if they saturate the third. So the third bases are being taken. Hellions poke in. Again, it's possible this may be a safety precaution, but this is just really, really early Roach Warrens. Just really early. Roach production has begun. Gases are being taken. They're still squeezing out a couple of workers, so they might just drone, and this might just be a safety precaution here. We'll see. Likewise, Stargate to Twilight Council. So once again, looks like the same build here from OpTiMiStC. Does rotate, does find some free drones. No queen, no spore, no nothing. Yeah, 2 drones going down. The spore is killed, not cancelled. Oh god, no, he contact too soon. Yeah, it does rally in, and that is brutal damage here. That is going to be 7 kills in that one Oracle. He still has energy, so he can still just keep going. Does poke in, does pull away. And we can see the both RiSky and FIGARO, they're joining up. So it looks like these Roach Warrens were more of a safety precaution. I still will say they were pretty early Roach Warrens, but again, they're not being aggressive with them. They're just trying to defend back at home. Oracles, they threaten a dive. The rocks are under fire. We spoke about this previously. Whoever has map control can try to split apart the attention of both players, as there's 2 different avenues of attack. As the rocks eventually will be knocked down. We're just rallying out more Hellions, rallying out more Cyclones. As I mentioned before, +1 Enabling Stalker out of OpTiMiStC, so the same setup here from the Protoss. Except his third base is just fully secure. Like, there's just nothing to stop him. Just freely drone up and saturate. Rocks are about to be knocked down. I appreciate that he doesn't knock them down yet. Basically, they're low enough where whenever the rotation does arrive, they can just knock it down immediately and then push in. So this area is ready here for the blue team to push forward and to break the expansion. Ideally, we want to push in together, I would imagine, alongside the Stalkers. Speaking of, there's not many yet. Gateways are still on the way. Now Moja just gaining map control on Santa Queen. Queen goes down. It's still just pure road Ravager here from both Zerg players. Station bits on the way. Slack going to get some nice lock-ons. Just picking away at the army at the same time. Ling Wangbai does get in. Does try to get in. Gets us around on 1, 2, 3 adepts. Gets 2 of them. 2 adepts go down. No major losses here for the blue team. They can still rally on out. Can still rally. Getting their upgrades. Basically, it's been Moja just maintaining map control and he's just waiting for Optimus to start to be active. To finally get all those gateways online. And that's going to be a lot of gateways. We have 7 so far with another 4 on the way, so 11 gateways in total. And the push should soon arrive. Until then, Moja's kind of preparing. He's setting up, takes down a wall of roaches. We have a couple of Stalkers trickling in. And here we might just commit. Yeah, we're going for it. We're rallying. Here they come. Yeah, here come the Stalker reinforcements. Lings, they get roasted. And roaches are trying to engage. Stasis goes off, shuts down some of the roaches at least. There should be enough. They're holding. Okay. So team, we're holding on. We're forcing this back for the time being, but here come more Stalker reinforcements. Again, we're still waiting for those warp ins. Ooh, they warped in at the 3rd base, so it's going to take a long time for them to join the fight. It'll take a long time here. But Moja's fine. But Moja, he's trading well. Trading very nicely. Takes down more roaches. We have some infestors on the way that will help. Here we go, Figaro. He does come in from the left-hand side. Does come in for a flank. Both Zerg armies have arrived. Figaro and RiSky. Nice fungal. Does lock down the army. But Stalkers, they can tank. And these are still more efficient trades for the blue team. Yeah, these a lot of roaches are falling. Baited into stasis traps, which means the blue team can just keep pushing. Oh no! Catching up reinfestors. Optimus does completely back off, but I feel like we can keep applying pressure here. It just races all the way back home. So they're backing off, they're regrouping. Meanwhile, we have lurkers on the way. Okay, RiSky taking up into lunkers. RiSky is taking up. Figaro committed to just pure roach Ravager. Now, if we can get into a handful of lurkers here, then we can slow the game down. We can hold the line and then allow ourselves to take up into Hive and into something greater here. Bearing in mind that the Protoss player, that Optimus, he's been stuck on pure gateways, but never mind. He's got Storm. He does not. Okay, Storm is halfway done. But he's now taking into Storm. He's making 2 immortals at a time, double road production. He is slowly gearing up. Oh, Fleet peeking into Sky Toss. Oh boy. Sky Toss on the horizon as well. And for the time being, the Zerg team that's stuck on mainly a Roach Ravager army. We gotta start trading. Before then, though, we need those Lurkers. Yeah, Lurkers are just now morphing in. Likewise, massive Roach counterattack. Ooh, tanks are on the high ground. Forcing a bit of friendly fire, but the Roaches, yeah, they're gonna be shut down. And I feel like we might be throwing away these roaches a little bit too soon. I figure he's got 17 more roaches on the way. Main armor classing in. Catching out the Stalkers, not bad. A lot of Stalkers going. Oh my god. Catching out so many Stalkers. Yeah, last Optimus, he was struggling. But now the army's coming in from behind. We have a handful of Lurkers. There's what, like 6 Lurkers? Oh, 2 of them just went down. Losing 2, losing 3. Still 6 Lurkers left. It's gonna be a one-way trip though. Yeah, there's no way out of this. Things are being dealt with. Liberation Zone is within range. They take down another lurker. And RiSky's on his own. Sorry, FIGARO together, I should say. But they're going to be cleaned up. We do have 2 lurkers getting free damage. Let's go. We just ignore them. We just ignore them. There's a scan, takes down all the lurkers, and they just get completely swallowed up. I'll be honest, I thought that was only one army. That was both armies. Doesn't bode well. I was like, oh no, RiSky's going to be out of this. Now FIGARO's on his own. It's like, oh no, those are both armies. Oh, I see. As they're trying to amass more roaches. That's why I thought that FIGARO, he had actually a lot of roaches still in production. They just now popped out after the fight. And there's still a couple of lurkers on the way in the high ground. FIGARO going for a counterattack. Does go for a counterattack instead. Oof. Storms popping up. Brutal storms in the army. Oh god, he stands in the storms. And even Roach is full to storms here. They can only tank so much. Lurkers, they hold the line. Another base is going to be going down. Back at home, there are enough defenses, cannons, shield batteries. And now we can start working towards Sky Toss. Some other ship is halfway done. No carriers or Tempest yet. Optimus moving in, he can always recall. Ooh, as Optimus is supply blocked. Oh, supply blocked. Takes out the expansion. We're expecting a recall. Yep, there it is. Does recall back home. Does abandon some of his High Templar. There's 3 High Templar left behind. And 3 Immortals. Yeah, so a brutal recall. High Templar getting called out. Nice pickups. Nice pickups out of the Zerg team. But they have been losing bases. They've been losing bases, losing expansions. They're broke. They don't really have much of an economy. And they cannot replenish this army. Ay, ay, ay. Bleeding out more lurkers. We have more Stargates on the way. Again, getting ready for that Sky Toss. And alas, RiSky and FIGARO, they're in a brutal position. They're trying to hold their own, trying to keep up. Jeez, oh my god, how many how many robos do we have? 4. Quadruple robo production. That's a lot of Immortals. Roaches, and then they find them. They do find them. GG gets called as they run into a wall of Immortals. And with that, Optimus and Moja will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Moja and Optimus, they will claim it. Again, a solid performance here out of our Terran and Protoss duo. Alas, game 1 was a little bit more one-sided, was a little bit more brutal. Here in game 2, there was a little bit more back and forth. The Zerg team, they were able to catch a couple of key units. They were able to take some fights, able to tech up somewhat in towards lurker tech as well, but they never quite got past that mark. And they were just losing still so many bases as well. There was that one moment where we had RiSky pushing on the right-hand side, and I did feel like FIGARO, he wasn't able to reinforce in time with his roaches. The army was exposed and every lurker went down. From that moment, they kind of lost any kind of map control that they once had, and they just couldn't hold on to their fringe bases. GG, well played. They weren't able to stabilize or turtle up or get into a more Hydra-based army. And with that, we do have Optimus and Moja advancing on to the next round. Likewise, we're going to be hopping on over here into the quarterfinals, where we have another set of players. Here, we do have Jimmy and Young Yakov, as they have been competing together for quite a number of months in the uThermal 2v2 circuit, and they're going to be competing against Dimaga and Starfish. It's great to see Dimaga once again. Again, Dimaga, he used to be very active in the 1v1 tournament scene, but nowadays he stopped competing in 1v1 tournaments, and now he's more active in 2v2s, at least still active in somewhat at least in StarCraft. In some way, right? Maybe not 1v1, but 2v2. Of course, Dimaga, we used to see him on a regular basis when he was competing for Berserker Esports in WTL, but Berserker Esports, they kind of disbanded their pro team, their pro roster, so Dimaga isn't really competing in 1v1 tournaments anymore, but great to still see him here. Big fan of Papa Dimaga. Big fan. Let's go.